If you've been on the internet recently, then you know that Karens are going wild. And if you didn't already know, a Karen is a middle-aged woman, usually white, who's incredibly entitled and thinks that the rules of common decency don't apply to her. Oh, and you can usually find her speaking to the manager. Hey, what's up guys, it's Mackenzie Smith here, a guest host on the channel, and today I'm going to be filling you in on the top 10 times Karen got owned. And I'm personally so excited for this video because some of the things these Karens do are truly wild. And just the fact that these women basically expose themselves by posting these videos to the internet and then get shook when they get backlash just shows how out of touch these women really are. But at least we can all get some enjoyment out of exposing the F out of them. And I'm usually hosting on Inform Overload, so you can check me out over there if you like to see more videos like this, because we actually do a lot of videos similar to this one. Also make sure to like, subscribe, and follow our socials to see more of us. Alrighty, so now let's get into that list. Starting out with number 10, Coffee Karen. This first one might honestly be the most violent that I've ever seen. Basically, it starts when two guys were sitting outside a Manhattan Beach coffee shop, about to eat. Then Karen and another guy, let's call him Ken, come up to them and start going off on them for not wearing masks, even though they're outside and not really that close to anyone. The groups go back and forth for a bit, and it all seems pretty cordial until the Karen decides to throw her hot coffee on one of the guys. And after this, he ends up pouncing on the Ken, and the pair ends up fighting with this guy until it's broken up and the Ken has a very bloody nose. Then the situation gets even worse when the Ken decides to call the cops and tell them that he's just been assaulted, but obviously fails to mention how they started this whole thing by firstly coming up to them at all, then secondly throwing the coffee super unnecessarily. And then the video ends with the cops showing up. And obviously these guys were in the wrong for not wearing masks if that's the law, but throwing coffee is not only assault, but will get your boyfriend punched in the face.
Oh, that was dumb. Hey, you shouldn't have thrown the drink in his face.
I don't give a Up at number 9, COSTCO Karen, who is definitely the most mature on this list. You'll see what I mean in a minute. When the video starts, it looks like the Karen has asked to speak to the manager. Classic. Then the manager asks why she's not wearing the mask, hinting to if she has some sort of medical condition. Then the woman says she doesn't have a condition, but she still doesn't need to wear a mask because she is a United States citizen. Okay. But then the employee calls her out saying that they can make any rules that they want, and then points out that the Karen could literally just wear the mask that she has dangling from her ear instead of causing a problem for no reason. And what's crazier is that Costco security is pretty strict, so she probably used that mask to get into the store, then took it off just to be problematic. Then when the employee stands firm on the fact that she won't be helping her without a mask on, Karen takes it even further and sits down on the floor of Costco. And I guess the employee has dealt with other Karens in her day because she hardly reacted at all and just asked her to move aside so people could still leave the store peacefully. And we sadly didn't get to see how this one ended, but I assume security just kicked her out of there after she was sitting on the floor for way longer than needed. And at number 8, Measuring Tape Karen. This next one isn't a freakout because of her lax nature about the virus, but instead because of how seriously she's taking it. In the short video, all you can see is the Karen with her measuring tape out, screaming at the top of her lungs that she is protecting her family, while it looks like her husband is trying to pull her away. According to the other woman that was filming, they were at a beach when the Karen wanted their group to move farther away from her. Then she identified herself as a nurse and took out the measuring tape to probably show what 6 feet looked like. And I'm sure she felt they weren't social distancing, but since she was pretty close to them while screaming at them, I'm not sure how much she really could care all that much about social distancing.
Goodness sakes.
In at number 7, Gas Station Karen. This one is actually a case of a Karen getting what was coming to her. So this one started out at a gas station with some people already in the gas station. Then Karen walks in when she needs help with a pump. Then when the Karen wants to cut in line in front of the people that were already standing there, the Karen resorts saying, quote, "Go back to your country," before telling the clerk behind the register to not serve this other woman. Then after a lot of back and forth and screaming, it builds up to a face-to-face altercation, where it's hard to tell exactly what happens, but it seemed like the woman lightly shoved the Karen after she got way too close to her face. Then the Karen pushed her back much harder, with the other woman then going in and slapping her in the face. And it ends with the Karen leaving while the cameraman tells her why this was all her fault that it happened. And although I definitely don't think the woman should have ever put hands on each other, it's a reminder you never know what people are gonna do if you start an altercation with someone.
Excuse me, but you did say that she needs to go back to her country. What is that?
Native Americans.
Excuse me, this is what this whole world.
White people are not from this country. Don't serve her. Yeah, you not don't serve her racist.
Up at number 6, Tesla Karen. This might be the most ridiculous one, honestly. And it's one coming out of Toronto, where Karen got pissed because she was asked to move her Hyundai out of a Tesla spot that was very clearly marked with signs and had a charger at the end of it. This is one coming from the public freakout subreddit, and basically it starts with her in front of her car, and the employee's telling her that she has to move it. Then when she notices the person recording, she goes off on them and starts talking trash about millennials and how we put ourselves online. Then when her comments are getting really out of hand, the employees tell her to leave, and she starts coming up with excuses to why she can't leave, including the fact that she might have COVID and that she's waiting for someone that had an appointment. Then when the security guards tell her there's clearly a sign saying not to park there, she then tells them that she can't see. Like, what? You're supposed to be driving? And I just think this woman is the quintessential Karen because the whole thing was entirely her fault, but she still managed to be entitled. Like, I just don't even understand.
Oh, please, take this. You're just, you know what, I can get let's put it on Instagram. So security can move and I'll park there, or I'm parking here because nobody's here. Yes. Nothing better to do with your time because this is what your generation does. You go on Grindr and do hookups. You show every part of your body. You have no self-respect. Oh my goodness.
Halfway through at number 5, farts Karen. We got yet another case of a Karen refusing to wear a mask. The incident took place at a Panera Bread in California, where she got in an argument with staff and other customers for refusing to wear a mask. The video starts with an employee confirming the fact that she won't be getting served because she won't wear a mask. Then other customers start telling her to get out, calling her selfish, among other names. Then she shook me to my core when she blew air at all the customers that were yelling at her. And when I tell you, that is the moment that I would have popped off. But then as she starts to finally leave, she gives another reason why she isn't wearing a mask, saying, quote, "You fart out your ass, you can smell it out your ass. You think that mask is gonna protect you?" And when I tell you, I lost it at that comment. And when you're comparing wearing a mask to smelling a fart is when you know you're truly dealing with a scholar.
You're so selfish. No, because you're putting all of us at risk.
Oh, come on, grow the up, lady.
You think that mask is going to protect you? You fart off your ass, you can smell it.
Unreal logic.
In at number 4, Starbucks Karen. This next Karen walked into a Starbucks in California hoping to get served, even though she wasn't wearing a mask. But the barista named Lennon told her not today, Karen, and like any good employee refused to serve her unless she put on a mask. This Karen then lost it and ended up thinking that she was so right about the situation, she ended up posting a photo of this barista and trying to call him out by saying, quote, "Meet Lennon from Starbucks who refused to serve me because I'm not wearing a mask. Next time I'll wait for the cops and bring a medical exemption." And let's just say she didn't get the support she was hoping for and instead got a ton of hate comments calling her out for being a Karen. Then after this went viral, she tried to excuse her blatant entitlement by saying that she has a medical condition, which is the most basic excuse in the book, saying she gets, quote, "shortness of breath, dizziness, and it messes with her heartbeat," she told the news. And just so everyone could band together against this Karen to show her what's up, someone ended up starting a GoFundMe for Lennon, just to spite her. And the craziest part to me is that he ended up raising over $100 grand. Just for standing up to this woman. And this is so wild to me because even though I love that he stood up to her and didn't stand down, I also don't think I would personally contribute to a GoFundMe for someone that's, you know, literally just doing their job. But hey, Lennon now has some money he can use towards college or whatever else he might want. But the last twist of the story is that this Karen is so entitled, she's now trying to sue the barista for half of the GoFundMe money. But not only is that ridiculous, I'm sure it's impossible also because she would have to show damages on her end, and since the only damage came from her ruining her own reputation, I think it's gonna be keeping all that cash. And at number 3, coughing Karen. I just need to preface this story with the fact that people that cough in other people's faces in the midst of all this are the absolute worst type of entitled Karen. So this Karen from Queens was in a bagel shop when she got in a screaming match with another customer who was calling her out for not wearing a mask. This video is pretty short, so you can't catch everything that was said, but it starts off with a lot of noises and yelling. Then the Karen grabs her stuff and yells, "You can't say it to my face." Then she runs up to the other woman and coughs all around her. Then the victim obviously lost it and asked her what the hell was wrong with her, because seriously, that is outrageous. Then the victim in the incident, named Allie Goodbaum, posted a video on Facebook, as well as adding why she would never be going back to that bagel shop because they still served this other woman when she didn't have a mask on, with the shop responding with an apology and telling her the fact that most of the employees were high school students meant that they were too intimidated to stand up to her. And that honestly makes a lot of sense to me.
Tempers running high this morning after this video surfaced showing a woman inside this New York City bagel shop not wearing a mask and coughing on a fellow patron.
And at number 2, pepper spray Karen. Also being referred to as California Karen, this woman for some reason felt threatened and decided to pepper spray a couple at a dog park. Now you're probably asking, why would she do that? Well, it's because the couple, who weren't anywhere near her in the first place, decided to not wear masks while they were eating lunch. Of course, this Karen claimed self-defense and cited the fact that you're not allowed to eat lunch on the picnic benches as enough of a reason to pepper spray them, which is ridiculous. One of the victims commented that, quote, "She automatically started saying stuff about us not wearing a mask when we were social distanced. There was no one near us. If we knew there was a no food policy, we wouldn't have brought it into the park." Then saying that the woman ended up leaving, but came back with the mace and started to mace both of them without saying anything beforehand. And I am so happy this was caught on tape, because this Karen needs to feel the full extent of the law for her actions.
What are you doing? You cannot be serious. You just maced him. You just maced him. You just maced him. You just maced him and their food because you disagreed.
And finally, number 1, Central Park Karen. This is the one that started it all. This woman apparently felt threatened by a black man bird watching in Central Park after he came up to her to simply remind her all dogs need to be on leashes. In the video filmed by Christian Cooper, you can see that the Karen is saying, "I'm gonna tell them there's an African American man threatening my life." And while she's talking, you can see her essentially choking the hell out of her own dog while she's talking to him. It all escalated when he started filming her and she tells him to stop. She then starts getting in his face. She then backs away after threatening to call the cops, which he encourages, and she goes from 0 to 100 real quick, not only making her dog visibly uncomfortable to the point that it's jumping around trying to break free of the stranglehold she has on it, but also screaming as if she's being attacked. After asking for the police to arrive, the video ends with Christian thanking Amy for putting the dog on the leash. Then after this went super viral, the Karen ended up losing her job as well as her dog for a little bit. And for the entitlement she showed in that video, she definitely deserved it.
And there is a man, African American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African American man. I am in Central Park. Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops.
Alrighty everyone, that's all for this wild ride of a list. Let me know what you're thinking about all this below. Tell me who you thought was the craziest Karen, and definitely let me know if you've had an encounter with a Karen in your life. I personally haven't, but with how fast the world is deteriorating around us, it's probably just a matter of time at this point. And I'm not going to be doing comments because I don't really have any to shout out as of now, but leave something below that you want me to see and I just might feature it in my next video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the channel, and I hope you had a good laugh. Again, make sure to like and subscribe below if you want to see more, and follow the team on Instagram to see more of us. And I'll see y'all in the next one.